Welcome to Wake Up and Unleash. I am so excited for today's episode. I have the honor and the privilege of having some of my most favorite people on earth here with me today. These women are not only incredible, powerful leaders, they are powerful and successful and very intelligent entrepreneurs. So, what you're about to hear today is a conversation from four entrepreneurs in the life of an entrepreneur. We're not only good friends with each other, but also we are a soundboard. We also have an accountability group where every week, actually, no, it's like every other week, we come together and we discuss our life, our business, and we hold each other accountable. So, welcome, ladies. Thank you for being here. For having us. So I'm excited. So I have a question for all of you. Entrepreneurship today is such a popular thing. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. They think it's so glamorous to be a business owner. However, we'll get to the stats later. A lot of businesses, they don't succeed even past the first year. And you ladies here have had businesses for over 10 years. So my question to all of you, we're going to get right into this, okay, is what had you go into business and what had you stay in the game? So the first person I'm going to reach out to is Veronica. I actually have known her the longest. So Veronica, tell us, what had you start your own business and what had you stay in the game?
Well, the truth is, I didn't even want a business.
What?
I didn't. When I started my cleaning company, and that was back in 2008, it was because a customer gave me the opportunity. And she's the one that said, I don't know why you don't just have your own business. I would give you this building to clean. Because I used to have the janitorial company. And I kind of went, okay. And at first I thought I said that in my mind, but I actually said it out loud. I did say it out loud. And she's like, okay, I'm going to need insurance. I'm going to need this. I'm like, okay. So I called a friend of mine and we became business partners and launched the business. What kept me in was the moment you start growing, you're just in it and you start growing and you see like, oh my God, this was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. But it's not that easy. Did I? I thought it was going to be easier. But, when you're starting one account after another, and you have to meet payroll, you don't have money, and then you're driving a nice car, barely make the payment, or you have to go to the gas station and do this and go eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Let's see which credit card can work today to get me gas to get to an appointment. When you have to go through that struggle, it's like, wait, entrepreneurship is not that glamorous. But we think it's easy. The hard part is the first couple of years. First couple of years. But once you get past those first 2 years, like honestly, it was a really, really rough transition from having a nice cushy job, earning over 6 figures. I always say I went from 6 figures to no figures to not knowing when I was going to get paid. Because when you're an entrepreneur, one of the things with my business partner and I were very aligned with, our employees came first. They had to get paid first. We agree they're the backbone of our operation. And, these are employees that are out there cleaning at late hours at night, scrubbing toilets, taking out trash. They deserve to get paid. And then we're like, how much money is left? Can I get at least $300-400 for groceries or for whatever I can get? So it's a transition. But honestly, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing because that's part of the journey and it's part of the experience.
How long have you been in business? And you just have to hear this. How many employees, when you had like your peak, how many employees did you have?
Okay, so I had my business for 15 years. I walked away January 31st, 2020.
You walked away or did you?
Well, I sold it. Let me rephrase that.
Okay, yeah.
When I say walked away, it's like, okay, I'm done. I need to move on. It was a very difficult decision, but it's also one of the best decisions I could tell you I've made. Today, I can say it was a great decision. But at the moment, I had a really hard time letting go of the company. At our peak, we had probably close to 180 employees.
Wow.
I know. And I recently looked at some records. And through the transition that I had my business from 2008 to 2023, we probably had over 300 people that came through our company. Because we gained some contracts, lost some contracts, or people leave, or things happen, right? Over 300 people. I was like, wow, that's a big responsibility.
300 families, 15 years.
Yeah, wow. That's a big responsibility when you think about that. I mean, a lot of people depending on you to make sure that they're getting their paycheck because they need to feed their family. So
you sold your business and now you are doing, again, another business, but now on your own. So speaking of another business, the next person I want to introduce is Brenda. Brenda, how do we describe her, Erica? Every time we talk to her, she has another business idea opportunity. She is our serial entrepreneur of the group. Every time I talk to her, I find out that she had another business. I'm like, you had that too? Oh yeah, when I had this business. So she's had a lot of businesses and currently has a few businesses. So Brenda, tell us what had you go into.
I'm trying to keep up with the one I have now.
I know. What had you go into business for yourself, and what has you stay in the game?
Let me back up because I have a background in sales. At 13, I was going door to door, knocking my neighbors and selling cookies. So I went from that. I went to outside sales in my early 20s, and I was selling meat to carniceria,
I didn't know that.
and restaurant owners.
Neat.
So I just love the challenge of walking in, not knowing somebody, and just, selling myself. Really, that's what you have to do as an entrepreneur. You have to be very comfortable doing that. When I graduated, because I graduated from UCLA, I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. And I found this position that's literally said, if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, come and work with us. It was an education. I was a tutor throughout college, and it just made sense. I read a book when I was 18 called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. A lot of people might have heard of it. So that really kind of planted the seed of thinking differently and really just taking, bold risks, because entrepreneurship, that's what it is. You have to be very comfortable with the uncertainty of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I worked there for a year. I got interviewed for another position and to manage and direct the center myself. But I felt like I wasn't ready to branch off on my own. And I had my husband, who was my fiance at that time, who had his own business. He was my mentor, who was kind of coaching me on the side, saying, do you really want to work for corporate America your whole life? You have a strict schedule. So I was like, you know what? I realized at that moment when I got the position that I had interviewed for, that he believed in me and they believed in me, and I was not believing in myself. Right? And so at that moment, I was like, no, you're never going to be ready. That's the truth. No. You're never ready. And so for you ladies, you guys are that when there are moments, even now, almost 20 years as an entrepreneur, where I have those self-doubt, you believe in me.
Yeah.
And so I piggyback off your confidence in me that I know that I have.
Yeah.
Right. But not all the time. So I don't know. I just love the challenge.
That is the way we describe her. You want her to do something? Challenge her. That's what's kept you in the game. Something that you said I think is so key for everybody listening, and that is that you're never, ever, 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 ever gonna be ready. And really, entrepreneurship, that's what it is. It's being okay with not being okay with the uncertainty.
Yeah.
And it takes a certain type of person to see it through, which is why we'll get into that later. A lot of businesses don't succeed.
Yeah. There's a phrase that I love. Let me just pipe in here. There's a phrase I love. It's called progress beats perfection, right? Just put one foot in step of the other. It's never going to be perfect, but as long as you're making progress, as long as you're moving forward, and as long as you can see that growth, that's the perfect place to be.
And I love what she said, that, we hold each other accountable.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we need somebody else that believes that, because when a customer's like, I'm keeping you this building because of you.
Yeah.
I don't like your boss. And I'm like, and she's like, you should start your own business. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, oh, what was I thinking? But it took somebody else to start at me.
Absolutely.
And then even my business partner at the time, he was saying, yeah, your boss doesn't appreciate you. You could do better than that. You could do better than that. So sometimes it does take the encouragement of other people, because we all see things in each other that we don't see in ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But before that, because I think that's so key, because you do need to have people around you that believe in you. Because the truth is, and I love what Brenda said, I know I believe in myself, but you don't believe in yourself every day of every minute of your life, right? So we're going to definitely talk about that in a second. But before we do, Erica, talk to us about what had you start your business. And you have a very unique business.
Yeah.
And what has kept you in the game?
Yeah. So I have been in the legal recruitment business for over 20 years. I was asked to be a partner in a recruitment business. This was over 15 years ago. Became a partner, and I had 3 partners, 3 males. And I was the one that was doing everything in that business. And I had 5% of the business, right? That was my partnership, my ownership amount. When I saw what these guys were contributing, number one, and the level of intellect, say that, And then my husband was like, you're the one doing all the work. This is your vision. What's going on? That business failed miserably. And it was my husband who encouraged me and said, why don't you start your own business? You can do this. You've been doing this for so many years. And I ummed and ahed. And then I was just like, okay, I wasn't ready. It wasn't perfect, but necessity made me jump off that ledge, because it was either that or go back into corporate America. And I had 2 young children. And I said, I can't even cope with that anymore. I can't even do that anymore. So it was necessity, and it was really seeing the incompetence of others and being confident in my own abilities. I jumped in. I started the business literally in the closet. And
What do you mean, the closet of your house?
the closet of my house.
Oh, wow.
Explain that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was actually on Homemade Simple, the Oprah Winfrey Network. I didn't have an office space, so I just said, okay, what am I going to do? I need this whole office to look different. I wrote to the show. They came out. They organized my whole space. Oh yeah, they organized.
Wait, so they came out to you?
Yeah.
See, this is a lesson about being resourceful.
Oh, it so was. Yeah, they came out. They had a whole show on us. I got 2 offices created.
We never known this.
They
I
created.
want the link to the show.
Oh yeah, they created this beautiful space in the closet, and that was my first office. That was my first office that I made $40,000 from in like 3 months, and it was amazing. And that was over 15 years ago now, but that's how it started. That's how Round Hill started, and I've just grown it over the years. And like you said, never perfect, right? You still have doubts, and it's when I speak with you guys on a Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. Like, you are my sounding board and encourage me to sort of reach higher heights. So we can talk about that later, but having the right people around you, super important as well.
And what has kept you in the game?
Freedom, right? I could never see myself in corporate America again. The freedom that having my own business gives me, my family, and then just continually creating something that it excites me. So that keeps me going. That's, that's why I continue to do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of hard work and sacrifice to get to the freedom. A lot of people don't see. They see the success.
Yeah.
Kind of like that iceberg, right? That's growing all the pain and everything. But you see the beautiful iceberg, but you don't see everything that happened to get to the level of success. Because she built a multi-million. But do you know how much I had to sacrifice? Like,
Exactly.
I was behind on my car payment, thinking the repo guy, those big guys that used to have a show.
This show's still on.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. But I would be looking over my window, thinking, like, what if they're out there waiting for me to take the Mercedes? Because I was 6, I think at one point I was like 5 months behind. I would think they're going to show up and take the car.
Yeah.
Until somebody told me, oh, don't worry, I'm almost a year behind, but I send them payments. I'm like, oh, I didn't know we could do that.
Yeah.
Because we don't talk about those things.
Right. Yes.
We're struggling. We don't talk. So everybody sees, oh, look at how great she is doing. She built a multi-million-dollar business.
Yeah.
You know what it took?
Oh, do you know what it took? Yeah, absolutely.
Any me, tiny mo.
Yeah.
Right? The repo guy, is he going to show up and take the SUV?
Yeah. Or the lawsuit that ends up on your desk. I applied a lawsuit, and
Have you been sued?
Yes.
Have you been sued?
Times.
Have you been sued?
yes,
Have I been sued? Yes.
I cried on my first lawsuit when
I cried.
we treated this employee so well. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
They say you're not successful until you've been sued.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So
been there, done that.
So we're on a good way. So I'll share with you a little bit about what had me. So Karla, what had me?
Karla, what had you?
Different door. So like Brenda, so I'm going to back up. What had me really go into entrepreneurship since I was a little girl. My grandmother on my mother's side, she was what a lot of women would call today a hustler, a boss lady. To us, she was just like a grandma that made things happen. Every time she would go to Mexico, she never gave us money. She would always give us things to sell. Since I was a little girl, she would make little things and we would go knock on the doors and stuff like that. And so fast forward, we come to this country and then, same thing. I was in elementary school. She had me sell things. I was in high school. I would, sell stuff door to door. So I've always been in sales like Brenda. Then I went to USC though. We still like each other. Okay. But I went to USC and I got a job and for 3 whole months, I'm a pretty sharp cookie. So I picked up things real quick and somebody said to me, "You're such a smart ass." And I was like, wait, what? And I was only 23. So I called my dad and I was like, oh my God, they said this to me. And my dad said, I didn't send you to college to make another son of a beep rich. And like everybody else, that's like my dad was like, you should start your own thing. And I was like, well, how do I do this? Anywho, I got advice from somebody. I want to share this with the audience. I got advice from somebody. My professor said this. He said, work now like most people your age are not willing to work so you can later live like they only wish they could. And the founder of Kinko's came to school, to USC, and he said, so I'm a pretty smart cookie, but when I was at USC, let me tell you, that was a very humbling experience. I was like, okay, I guess I'm not that smart. And I remember him, it was our one of our classes. He went like, all the C students stand up. And I was like, oh, it was a finance class. So I was like, oh, I don't care. So we stand up. And he goes, B students, stand up. And we stood up. The people stood up. And he goes, okay. He looked around. He goes, A students, stand up. And so they all started standing up really like this. And he goes, okay, C students, raise your hand. And he goes, C students, please meet your new employees. And I was like, ooh, wait, what did he say? I was like, what does he say? And then he said, all the A students, they were standing up.
Yeah.
And he goes, C students, raise your hand. And we raise our hand now, very proud. He goes, meet your new boss. And I don't know, that still gives me the chills. I guess the lesson for me right there was, like, just because somebody is intelligent doesn't mean they have the capacity to have a business. And he talked about, if you guys don't know the story of Kinko's, I'm not going to go into it, but he has a lot of learning disabilities and stuff like that. So that with my father's, like, I didn't take you to school to make another son of a rich, all those little things deposited into my mind. And so I started my business with $6 to my name. And, you know, there we went.
He had sick.
I was living with my parents. So for those of you who are young, I was 23 and I had no children, not married, nothing. I lived with my parents and I just thought, you know what? Like, if I mess up, I can always go back to my parents' house or sleep on the couch or whatever. And that's how I started. And then now, like Veronica, I went into something different. And what had me now do what I'm doing now, which is, you know, coaching entrepreneurs, is the belief in other people.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I want to transition into that because I feel that, you know, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today, which I'm so passionate about and I love it, if it wasn't for the belief of everybody that I had around me saying, like, this is what you should be doing. And I'm like, oh, God. And they're like, you're so good at this. I'm like, oh, gosh. And I feel that something that I say all the time is that one of my core beliefs is that it matters who you have around you. It matters who's in your ear.
100%.
It matters. Like, proximity is power.
Yeah.
So these women bring a lot of power to my life. Sometimes I don't like what they say to me, but it's important. So I would love to ask all of you ladies, like, obviously we have a group
Yeah.
twice a month at 6 a.m. We come on.
That way there's no excuse we don't show up because 6 a.m.
Yeah. Well,
They're always busy.
Exactly. There you go. No excuses. And I would love for you guys to talk about, because a lot of people on here might be thinking like, well, I don't have that network. First of all, let me first tell you this. We've known each other for a long time. But what happened was I was in a mastermind and that came to an end. So I'm sharing this to give you an idea. And I thought, well, I want to be part of that mastermind, but I want to be part of the mastermind because of the people that are in the mastermind. But it was going to cost a lot of money. And then I thought, wait a minute, who do I have around me?
Yeah.
That I can lean on, that I trust, that love me, that will tell me the truth, and that care for, especially this one right here, and that will care for me enough to say, hey, Karla, like, you know, and so I
With love.
with love, yes. So I called them and I said, well, you want to do this? And they all said yes. So that's how this started. So if you're listening to this, think about, if you don't have that, ask yourself, where can I go to get that, right? So tell me about, and anybody can jump in, like, what has this group or any group that you've been part of played in the success of your business? Because it's not easy to be 5 months behind. It's not easy to get the lawsuit. It's not easy to go through what we're going through. What has the environment done for you to keep you guys going and thriving?
I want to share with that because yesterday I was at a podcast and I shared this. In our accountability group, you said to me, why you ran away from what you know? Because I've been in the cleaning industry for 25 years, right when I was 15. I've been in the cleaning industry for 25 years. And, I started the consulting business and I love it. I love that I'm able to help business owners take their business to a next level with this, scaling and also putting some operations and systems into place. But I was like, no, I want to expand my portfolio. I want to do other business. And I do have clients that are in other business, but clearly what I know is cleaning. I built a multi-million-dollar company, so why can't I help others do the same? But I was kind of like, oh no, but I don't want to be put in a box. I don't want to be put in a box. But yet that's where my success is coming right now in my consulting business is through the cleaning. The different cleaning. And so I wanted to thank you for that because that was part of our 6 a.m. phone call. Yeah, 6 a.m. that it's like, why you ran away? And I shared that in a podcast yesterday that I was interviewed. I said, I was running away from what I know.
And sorry to interrupt you. So many entrepreneurs, because we have all these ideas.
Yeah. Oh, I had millions of ideas.
We run away from I like to call it your zone of genius. Like, this is what you're so good at. And I it's like I think about what can you do with your hands tied, with your eyes closed and your hands tied behind your back. And this is your zone of genius. Yet so many, we will run and we want to do something else.
Right.
Because that's the challenge. That's the challenge. But the reality is you're so good at what you're good at that sometimes we don't value it.
And it comes full circle moment, right? Because I've been in the industry for so long. And I believe I shared this in our last accountability call. I acquired a new client because he went to the building and the employee who worked for me for about 8 years said, oh, is it you working with Veronica? And he said, Veronica who? Veronica Corona. No, but he knew me. So he calls me right. He goes, hey, I just got one of your old contracts. Like, which one? I'm like, oh my God. And he goes, I need your help. I need to hire. Wow. I need your help. And because the lady my ex-employees spoke highly of me. So I show up, I meet the managers because this building went through some transitions and it was sold. So now I had to meet the new managers. And, and then they said, oh, well, it seems like, because this place, it's, let me just say this building is a maze because it's an old building that's been around for almost 100 years. So the way it was built, it's a maze in there. And even one of the managers said, well, it sounds to me that you know this building better than we do. We might have to hire you as a consultant.
Yeah.
To guide us because the building's like all these hidden secret. They even have like vaults in there. And so it's just really unique. One of those unique buildings that's been around almost 100 years. And it's just like, this happened from not running away from what I know. So I felt that's a really
that's the power of having people around you that can highlight that.
Yes, exactly. But I want to leave with this message is really important is that, and it's famous. It's a famous quote that people will remember. People will forget what you said or what you did, but they will never forget how you made feel. Like absolutely. And so this employee clearly remembers how I treated her.
Yeah.
And get this, she wasn't receiving the same treatment anymore. And so obviously she wanted to ask the owner, oh, are you working for Veronica? And he said, Veronica, who? And he knew me and he literally was at the building calling me, I need your help.
So the lesson here is you had a business, you sold it.
Yeah.
But now you have another business, but because of your reputation, your attention, the way you treated people, those doors never closed, which are now opening new doors for you.
Yes, of opportunity.
Unleash Her, where women come to embody their confidence, their leadership, their power, and their fire. Hi, I'm Karla Sandoval, and I am so excited to introduce to you this incredible transformational program. If you're here, you're most likely the type of person that knows you are made for more. You've had success. You know deep inside, you have what it takes to create the life of your dreams. Yet there is something inside of you that has stopped you. There is something inside of you that keeps putting on the brakes because maybe you are like me, where I always thought if I go to the next level, if I have more success, what will that mean? Will that mean that I'm going to sacrifice my family, my children, the people around me, my body? If I go to the next level, what are people going to say? Because let's be honest, a lot of people around me will probably say, I have a pretty good life. You see, a lot of the women that I coach tell me one thing. And that is, Karla, I know that I have what it takes. I know I am made for more. I know that I can take my life to another level. I know this is not for everybody, and that's okay. But what I'm going to invite you to do, especially after if you've gotten this far, and that is this, make a choice, decide, and have it come in here and say, I feel this is for me. Go for it. I hope that you choose to join us. Because one of the things that I'm committed to is to helping women wake up and unleash that leader that they have inside. Wake up and unleash that powerful woman they have inside. There is a calling inside of you. But if you don't wake up, there's no way that you can give that calling a life. So if this is for you, I encourage you to click on the link below and join us. I know that there is a powerful being inside of you. And my true desire is that you allow her to wake up and unleash the woman that you know you have inside.
I was just going to add, when you were talking about groups and everything, so I was in business for a number of years before I found the Dr. Yasmin program. So Dr. Yasmin, the leadership program, the entrepreneur program, and that's where we all met, right? And it was so lonely as an entrepreneur, and it can be a very lonely space. It's so important to seek out, really be intentional on seeking out groups, seeking out classes, get a class somewhere, do a class, and then connect with people and make your own group, because this has been the program, and you guys have been instrumental in my personal growth as well, because I see Brenda moving and shaking and taking another risk, and I'm like, I want to take another risk.
I know. This is you too.
I want to do that. And then, so it's really important to have like-minded women, because the minute I found my tribe, that's when I was able to take my business to another level as well. And it continues to grow in that way. So that is very important.
Speaking of that, so I'm gonna share something. I'm sure it's fine. So we all met. No,
Sure, it's fine.
It's
Okay,
fine. It's fine.
okay.
Okay, I'm sure it's fine. If not, well, oh well. So we all met in the Dr. David's entrepreneur leadership program, and I had the opportunity of being their instructor, and then they were my students. But because they are over the top, extra. And I share this because here's the thing I want to share. As so many people don't realize that how you do one thing, you do everything.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So the way that these ladies showed up in my class, like when it was time the next year to get advisors, some of them were like, "Oh, we want." I'm like, "No. You're not picking my advisors, because they're gonna work with me. I want to choose them." And how did I choose them? It was I knew Veronica first, but I didn't know these two ladies very well. And I chose them because of how they showed up in the program.
Right.
They were over extra, ready to learn. They were
They got honors.
they got honors.
Honor students.
They got honor students, yes. And not just that, but they were always eager to ask questions. And I wanted to just say this because I feel like I know your business is totally just taken off from that day that we were in the boardroom. She was so scared. And I want you to talk about this, because so many times people don't realize that it's okay to be scared, and it's okay to admit. But if you're around the right people, so I'll just put context into it. She was going to be on a call. She had one employee. You had one employee at the time, right?
Probably, and it was probably a
part-time. Yeah, it was a part-time employee.
Yeah.
And she was so scared to get another one. And she had a call. She was like, "You guys, I have this call." And all of us were like, "You got this, Erica." And so we cheered her on and gave her a lot of encouragement.
It was being in that room around you all that made me take on a contract that I wasn't ready to take on. Right, I wasn't resourced enough. I felt I wasn't ready to take.
Because no, the reality is you didn't have the resources.
Didn't have the resources,
But
right? I didn't have the resources, and I remember the client called me and said, "Well, can you do this?" And you were like, "Yeah, cool. Yeah, just tell me. Yeah, yes, I'm asking.
We'll figure it out later.
I could do this.
They have to go work for you."
Yes, I can." So, I was very scared. Did not feel prepared. But rose to the occasion. You know, I remember the actual sort of rollout call with the client. I was in my office, and I was sort of standing up. I had my, power woman pose, literally crap it myself, right? But I took the call and went forward, and it was a huge contract. But did I feel ready? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I don't think we ever.
But then it's sort of like you jump off the mountain and you find your wings on the way down, right? I found the people that needed to come in to support me. My family sent them to the UK for a couple of weeks, worked around the clock. I got a picture of my daughter underneath my desk, and I was like, okay, I can't really do that to her. Let me send her to the UK.
Because your family's there.
Because my family's there in the UK. So that night that she was there, I was like, yeah, that's not good parenting right there. Let me...
But this is the reality.
But this is reality. Yeah. So they went away, and I literally worked around the clock to make things happen, and we made it happen. So
Yeah. Yes. So
Yeah.
I wanted to, that's such a great demonstration of you're never ready, but if you have the people around you, and I feel like, yes, you jump in the wings, not only will you start getting up, but
Yeah.
we were the wind beneath your wings. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. Brenda.
Well, I want to just touch on a point that she just mentioned, which is parenting, right? Because I think that that was an immediate connection
Yeah.
when we first met.
Yes.
It's that, we're entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
We're married,
Yep.
which is another world, right?
Another thing.
And we have kids, and we're trying to prioritize our own self-care.
Yeah.
And so immediately we connect on different points, and we kind of understand our world without really knowing what's going on in your world. Is like all these roles that we have to juggle. And there's a lot of parallels if you think about it, because as a mother, you do have to lead by example.
Right.
So there's that leadership component, which carries over to your business.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be practicing what you're preaching to your team.
Yes.
You're managing all these employees, and it's like you have to show up and show at your best and do whatever it is that it takes.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So-
And it's not easy. Juggling motherhood. It's not easy, but I actually love that. I love what I'm modeling for my kids as well. Right. And they have that entrepreneurial spirit now. They're like, what can we sell around the house? See?
Like Brenda's kids. Okay, so we're going to have Brenda talk a little bit about her circle and make sure she also has these 2 daughters that when we go to her house, they're always selling us something. And let me tell you, I love that you never stop them.
Right.
Because I think some moms would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We're like, bring it on. And it's like, she's got more money. So give her, she was selling, what were they selling?
S'mores, candles, fire pit in the backyard. And
Oh, that's hilarious.
I was like, well, here, go sell some s'mores, right? It was called 5 grams.
Yeah.
No, they were trying to raise money for something gecko, some lizard that's like, $100. I'm not going to buy a lizard.
On you, Pit.
But here's the thing. If they're like inspired by something that they want, you leverage that, right? And you help them come up with ideas. That's entrepreneurship. It really is. It's like, what kind of ideas? How am I going to problem solve?
Yeah.
And so they became pretty resourceful. They started selling, and then they were leaving. I had catering, so I had a lot of food. And here they go leaving with leftovers, and my kids like, it's like $5 it's lately if you're leaving, And I just kind of chuckled because I don't know, I didn't hear the muscle.
But here's the thing. The people that are around you don't judge that. I loved it. I was like, good for you for selling us something. So what has had you feel like the people around you, the resources, how has that contributed to your success?
Well, I mean, I definitely have some amazing friends.
Yes,
we are. Yeah. And, I just love being able to like put myself in a room where they don't really know me, that I feel like a little bit intimidated, because I know that I'm going to tap into something within myself that's going to raise my own standard.
Yeah.
Or become resourceful or show up in a different way. And so my room has always been changing this past 20 years. And
I love
let me here.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
I love that though, because it's true. So many people don't want to go to networking events, don't want to go somewhere because they don't want to go alone because they're like, I don't even know anybody. But I love what you said. It taps into.
Yeah, I think just a different part of ourselves, because we all, just one of my core beliefs is I have everything within me to become the version of my highest version of myself.
Right.
I love, right? But I don't always feel like that, right? And so if you put yourself in an environment around people who inspire you, who give you just a different model of the world, different perspectives.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where growth happens.
And that kind of reminds me of, it's you grow in the uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
You learn in an uncomfortable space. And then something I always like to say is your network is your net worth. So you need to get out and network and those uncomfortable rooms to create new relationships.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times, that's how Karla and I met. She kicked to a networking event for the National Latino Business Women Association.
Where she was president.
Where I was president back in it was around the time I became president, 2012. Right?
That was the first year.
Yeah. And then, I would say, Karla, she said yes to everything. She said yes to
I was in my yes era.
yeah. Well, because we had a lot of events. And as a matter of fact, get this. I found out that's Brenda met me there, and I don't remember. She came to our vision board.
I met you at a vision board workshop back in I was in my late 20s. And, I didn't know anybody. I just went because I had heard about vision boards and like trying to manifest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to go there. It was, and you were so sweet. You were so kind. And I was like, when I got an email
Well, remember how you made it?
I just felt very comfortable. She was just very encouraging and you were just beautiful. I mean, you still are. But back then when I didn't know you, there was something that I was like, oh,
I like her.
And when I saw the email come out where you were the president, I was like, I know her. And I was this close to reaching out to her and just telling her, hey, congratulations. But, life happens and I got busy and I didn't act in that moment. But here we are.
I work fast forward. I met her through the leadership program.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm also, that we're all alumni of, but that's how I met her. You were what class? Well, no,
2019.
Yeah, 2019. But we were actually at her office. We did some kind of a session. Asked her, like, I asked her my class. We were just several women from the class, and that's where I met her for the first time. I'm like, oh my God, does she own the building? I was thinking that actually.
Can I clean it?
Yeah. At that time, I still had my dream business. I think, does she own the building? I wonder if I can come and give her a price for cleaning.
Yeah, right.
Because you always think that way. I still think that way, even though I don't have a cleaning company.
I was going to say that. I was going to say some of the things that I feel that a lot of people don't realize is that there are resources and opportunities everywhere around you. If you're willing to look, if you're willing to reach out, and if you're willing to be uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Because I feel that a lot of people go, I don't know what to do. Well, listen, like, I'm sure you're not doing the same thing that you've been doing. How many years have you been in business now?
10 years.
10 years. But before that, you were
Before that, another 5 years before that.
working for somebody else, right?
A partnership, yeah.
Right.
So,
And then same with you. So like it never goes. I feel like our youth sometimes feels like they have to have it all figured out. Or not even the youth.
I still don't have it figured out. Do you have it figured out? I don't have it all figured out.
I don't have it figured out.
Yeah.
No. And so one of the things that I wanted to ask you guys, of all of you ladies, is that as you've been building your businesses, did you ever think that success, sometimes we think, oh, when I get to this, then my life will, why? Right. So for example, I'll share with you. When I started my business and I thought, okay, I'm going to build this business, and I had a lot of success, and I thought when I make this kind of money, then I felt like the clouds were going to part and the angels were going to come down and I was going to live my best life. I really did. I was like, okay, I'm going to go into business. Okay. And I was making money and I was like, okay, here it goes. But then when I hit success, at least for me, when I reached what I thought was success, I was like, is this it? Like, I did it. I feel that so many times we think that we've arrived, but when you arrive, to me, I felt like this wasn't it. Later on, with time, because I'm gonna be real transparent, I kind of got a little depressed because I was like, I felt disappointed. Like, this is not what I thought business was gonna look like. People were talking bad about me. My friends stopped inviting me. My family stopped inviting me to things. Like, I felt so isolated. Now, I will confess part of that I did to myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I will confess I didn't make the time for them. I didn't even make the time for myself. But when I got there, I was like, man, is this success? So I still struggle with this, but now I catch myself, and I have you ladies. I think I want to go to another level, but gosh, I sacrificed so much. Do I want to do that again? And do I have to do it like that again?
So you just said something really important. I sacrificed so much. So now you know how much you sacrificed.
Exactly.
And yes, you can go to the level again, but this time you're gonna make it different because you already been through the sacrifice. It's expanding and then growth. And I do believe that the higher you climb, the lonelier is at the top.
Yeah.
I really do believe that. And that's why you surround yourself with like-minded people that you could trust and open up. I mean, I some people in the room, I won't say who, have made me cry. But because I feel it's a safe space.
Yeah.
And I think that as you are evolving in life and growing wiser, also known as older, you're very careful about who you're surrounding yourself with, but most importantly, who you share your life with. As far as, certain things that are going on in life, because not everybody wants to see you succeed, and that's okay. Because like you said, somebody was talking about it, I'm like, That's just life. And the higher you are rising into power of anything, because when you're in a role of power and leadership, that comes with a lot of responsibility. Yeah. But it also comes with a lot of turmoil. Yeah. Because not everybody's gonna want to see you at the top, and that's okay.
That's true. And let me add something. I don't think you ever arrive.
No.
Yeah, you never arrive. You will never arrive.
That's like a big fallacy.
That's a big fallacy. It's a misnomer, whatever you want to call it. You get to one level and there's always going to be another level you're going to climb. So I'll tell you when you arrive, when you're dead. That's and that's what it is, because you're always going to have goals. You're always going to get to a certain level. And then they say, when people earn a certain amount, okay, you get comfortable with that amount, right? And then there's another mountain, then there's another goal that you're trying to achieve. So I think that if you kind of take that out of your head in terms of arriving, you have to have a successful moment, a successful day, or be just a successful person. I could have a really terrible quarter. Am I not successful? No, I'm still a successful person.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how I sort of show up every day as a successful person. Doesn't matter what's going on.
Yeah. So I think one of the questions that I have, and I'll ask Brenda this, and I think she would probably speak so good into this, is that when I had a lot of success at the time, I was young and I was naive, but like you said, knowing what I know now, and a lot of people that are watching have had, or maybe you've, have had or have success, and you feel like, okay, I'm good, I'm comfortable. But something inside is like, no, but I want more. But sometimes we feel like, gosh, but what is that going to look like? And one of the things that I feel a lot of women, especially that are moms and that are married, all the things, and have a dog and all the things, right? Sometimes I feel, and I've seen it, and it's happened to me too, we hold ourselves back because we don't think that we can do it all. Right? And we probably can't. And we can't do it all alone. Like, we think we have to do everything ourselves, and we don't. And so I know that one of the times I heard you say something and I was like, huh. And you said it in the Made for More Facebook. You said, ladies, I want to encourage you that you can go after what you want, still have a successful marriage, and still have a successful family. Like, what does that look like? And how have you, I know you don't have it all figured out because you're human, but what do you think has contributed to that philosophy and that core belief that you have?
Well, I also believe that we can do it all, but maybe not all at the same time.
Yes.
Right? And so there are times where my life wheel is a little lopsided, where I focus on the kids. During summertime, it's I'm a little bit more hands-on with them because I know the summers are counted.
Yeah.
This is the last summer with my teenager before she heads off to college. And so now we are intentional about the memories that we want to create.
I love that.
And so we have like my 12-year-old just busted out a summer bucket list, all the memories that we want to create. Some are easy, like doing s'mores in the backyard, camping in the backyard, to something a little bit more hard, which is like a no electronic day for her. Yeah.
I think they can all use that though.
Yes. But I think, so I think it's just prioritizing. And success looks differently. I now look for integrating my kids in my business because they grew up in my second born learned how to walk in the warehouse, right in between the alleys. And I have recorded of her learning how to walk there. So we've brought our kids into our business. Yeah. And so it's what they've seen, what they've grown up to see. And so the oldest wants nothing to do with entrepreneurship because she knows we're never always
seeking. A few years, that was me. As the oldest child, my parents aren't.
Yeah, I didn't want to either, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
and here I am.
But then she has a little side hustle. She sells used clothes online, but she just doesn't want to, I guess, own it. Yeah. She doesn't. Yeah. I'm hoping, but yeah, I think it's just it just looks differently at different times of your life, and you have to be okay with that because I'll be honest, there are times where I do feel guilty that we take the day off and you go over the list. I should be doing this, and then like my accountant's on me and this and that. But then I remind myself, like, no, this is why I've worked so hard.
Yeah.
Right. I've earned this. I built this. But there are those moments of a little bit guilt where I'm like, I'm just delegating all my tasks to my team.
Mhm.
And then I have to kind of catch myself and be like, wait a minute, what belief am I conflicting upon? Like doing that, and it's that you have to grind, you have to hustle.
Right.
I grew up from very humble beginnings. My father said you have to work hard. He worked with his hands as a tire guy, for many, many years. And so I've broken that.
Mhm.
And now I work, it's hard, but it looks differently.
I like that. It looks different. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I don't know if that answered your question or if I went on a tangent, but there you go.
No, I mean, that makes sense. It's just, I feel that so many times we do think, well, one, that we have to do it all,
Yeah.
and that we have to do it all at the same time. But it is true, right? Like the summer, it looks different. The holidays, it's going to look a little different. But I love what you said. It's like being okay to say, this is like to own your
Yeah.
success. Because I feel that so many times, so Brenda is the queen of celebration. And so many times we don't celebrate ourselves. We don't celebrate our success. We don't think, like, we don't say, like, I love what you said. You're delegating to your team. And I'm sure that there's moments that you're like, oh my gosh, what are they thinking? Am I not working? Right? There's maybe that little bit of a conflicting belief, like my family was always working. But this is why we do what we do, to get to a place to be able to say, okay, I'm going to go all in right now. The kids are in UK. I'm going to grind around the clock so that I can take, she just got back from London for how long were you there?
A month.
A month, right? So that in the future, I can have a month with my family traveling. Like my guy said from USC, my professor, he said, work now.
Mhm.
Like most people are not willing to work, so you can later live like they only wish they could.
Yeah.
I love that. And I have to send a shout out to you three ladies for, being entrepreneurs, marriage and kids. Oh yeah, it's like a lot of big balance, a lot of balances.
That's
Yes. But to your point as well about finding, my husband is so supportive of my business. The kids are so supportive. And without that,
kind of man I need.
yeah, exactly. Without that, there's no way I could have built what I've built, without that support. So, I remember early on, in the business and I was on calls like all day long, too tired to go on a date at night. But if somebody not getting sulky about that, it's just kind of like, I understand what you're trying to do, I understand what you're trying to build. It's okay. So really trying to find that person as well, if you're not married, but find that
And
person
if you have that person,
No.
to involve them in that process, right? Because I think a lot of times, at least I see this a lot of times, that their kids have no idea. I have somebody, I'm thinking about one of my relatives.
Yeah.
Their kids have no idea what she does. So they're a little bitter that she's gone. But I'm like, so-and-so, why don't you tell them? Like,
what you do.
involve them. And what a great way to model them for success.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up, I want to ask all of you ladies one question, and that is, success looks different for everybody,
Mhm.
right? Everybody, your success can look very different, especially depending on seasons of your life. If you could think back, well, actually, let me say like this: in this moment right now that you are with your life, what does success mean to you? What does that look like? What does it mean to you? Here, I'll go.
You on for
I'll answer first. So like for me, success is really living life on my own terms.
Mhm.
Is really feeling like, number one, that I have choice and the freedom to live my life how I choose to live it.
Yeah.
And what that looks like is one of my core beliefs and my core things in my life is like the people that are around me really impact my life. I feel that the quality of your life is directly related to the quality of your relationships. So for me to have if someone says, okay, Karla, how do you know you're having a successful life? Number one, I'm very happy. I'm good with myself, and I'm living life on my own terms and have the freedom to do what I want, when I want, with who I want. Like, to me, at this moment in my life, maybe tomorrow it's going to change, but that's where I am right now. And that's what success looks like for me.
Ooh, that's a very good answer to a very thought-provoking question. For me, success looks like that I'm aligned with my purpose, and I'm aligned with my purpose, knowing that I'm helping other business owners.
Yeah.
And not just as a consultant, but also as a chairwoman of the board for the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce, because I'm making an impact throughout the whole state of California. And let me tell you, that's a big title to carry, because I'm only the second woman in 47 years to be in that position. And it took 23 years to get another woman in this position. And so it's a big responsibility. It's a big responsibility. But and not everybody's going to like you, but this is not a popularity contest. It's about, I know that I'm living my purpose and I'm very aligned with it, knowing that I'm impacting other lives. That alone is success to me.
Yep.
Knowing that I'm making a difference and leaving a strong legacy for the future leaders. Because I always say I want to be that beacon of light that is on so bright that it enlightens the path to success for future leaders. And that to me is success.
I love that. I love that. That's why you're the chairwoman.
And when I say future leaders, that includes obviously my friends, family, my personal family. I have 5 nieces, 2 nephews, and I don't have any children of my own, but just with my 5 nieces and 2 nephews, very fulfilling. And I want to make sure I leave a strong legacy that they're proud to carry the last name Corona.
Love that.
Drop the mic.
Yes.
My job.
I'll go because I shared this maybe a few weeks ago. What success looks like to me, and I realized, like, oh my God, like I have arrived. Like that success in that moment for me was meaningful, and it was not that special. But it was being able to. I have hired help, and this is one of the things that a lot of people, you don't have to do it all, right? You have to hire the things that you don't want to do. For me, that's cleaning.
Yep.
You just cleaning, the cooking. I have people. I have help at home.
Yeah.
And that allows me to be in a better state, to be a better mom.
Yeah.
To have the patience, because the kids, they test. Yes, and they'd like to challenge you. It was in that moment where I was like, I had everything delegated, and I was like, oh, let's have breakfast. My teenager and I went to go have breakfast. He had a beautiful conversation, and I was like, this is successful for me.
Yeah.
That I can delegate the things that I don't want to do,
Yeah.
to be in a good place, to show up at my best for my family. I have a vision, materialistic things and being aligned. I am making a difference in my business. I providing a lot of jobs. I guess I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
And it's not ego pride. It's like I work freaking hard.
Yeah.
Right. And now, like I share with you guys, my vision when I turn 50, I want to be celebrating on a yacht. We will celebrating.
I'd be happy to bring you to the 50th Fabulous Club.
Or yes, though I have 6 years, so I'm working. My business is to help me create that vision, and that's exciting to me. Just to celebrate.
We're gonna go celebrate on a yacht.
Yes,
I love it.
Okay, so I'll be brief. So for me, success is freedom, right? It's being able to do what I want when I want. For the last 5 years, I've been able to say, okay, I'm going to go and spend 7 weeks in Italy. And I go and do it, right? Because I've worked so much to be able to get to this point. But more than that, for me, there's a great quote by Michelle Obama where she says, it's not enough to reach a level of success. And you got to send the elevator back down. And so,
I like that.
yeah, for me at this point in my life, it's about sending the elevator back down to my employees, inspiring them to be the best that they can be, to be successful as recruiters as well. I've started another podcast, so helping the next generation of lawyers by speaking to senior lawyers about their success as well. And I'm just sending the elevator back down because I'm here, I haven't arrived, but I've arrived to a certain level of success. And I want to share that with others as well, because it is so attainable. It's all about confidence, the people you have around you, and belief in yourself as well.
Nice. I love that very much, Erica, because I do believe that when one of us rises, we should rise others. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But those who want to rise, because not everybody wants to get into the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I've never heard that before.
Oh, it's great.
I love that. I love that. What's your podcast?
Lighting the Legal Career Podcast.
Okay, we will put it here in the comments. So, listen, ladies, thank you so much. This was so much fun.
This was fun.
So, I have a unreasonable request.
What is that?
So let me first tell you, for everybody here in the audience, this is now season 2 of Wake Up and Unleash. And I was thinking, this is something that I wanted my second season to really launch with the women that are making such an impact, have made such an impact, and are making such an impact in my life. However, this was so much fun, and I feel that we should continue this. So my unreasonable request would be for us to do this more often.
I'd love to do that.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Monthly.
monthly. Okay, there we go. See, it's on tape. Well, listen, for everybody here, thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you found this so helpful. And this is just the beginning of something great. We will come up with an amazing name because entrepreneurship is just that. It's great ideas. And so you just saw it in action. Thank you so much for listening in, and we will see you on the next episode. And don't forget to wake up and unleash that person you know you have inside. Have a blessed day.